And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with our committee/department reports, starting with Planning and Development. Chairwoman Lisa Newberry.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Is Tim Prater in the house? Tim is going to come up and read the cases for tonight.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item we have is R20-006. The property applicant is Merit Properties Incorporated. The property owner is Merit Property Incorporated. The property address is 76 Bay Creek Road. Map and parcel number is LG 100160. Property is currently zoned CH. The requested zoning is light industrial, and the acreage is 2.48 acres, and the applicant is here if y'all have any questions.
Does the applicant want to come up and speak and explain what you're wanting to do?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Lee Merritt, and my husband and I own Merritt Properties. We are a mom and pop operation. We have one employee, one maintenance person, and I've brought a couple of pictures for you to see to kind of demonstrate what we're doing here. They're on the screen behind you, so I'll just tell you when to move forward. We purchased 4 buildings on Bay Creek Road about a year ago, and this is what we do for a living. We have industrial properties like these, and we lease space to tenants. So we are landlords. Most of our businesses, most of our tenants are people who started a business, probably invented something in their garage, and it grew and became successful, and they reached the point where they needed commercial space. So we purchased these buildings about a year ago. They're on Bay Creek Road, right near Grayson Highway. We have spent the last year renovating them. And the reason we are asking for the change in zoning, they're zoned highway commercial, and we're asking for light industrial. And a lot of the businesses that are there could really go either way. But the reason we're asking for the change is that the buildings are designed to be industrial buildings. They are metal buildings with individual bays, with roll-up doors, concrete floors, and they lend themselves to industrial uses. When we looked at the zoning for highway commercial, the description of the highway commercial zoning, I wanted to share that with you. Basically, it describes that it's for businesses that are meant for the drive-by public or walk-in traffic. So basically storefronts. And whereas industrial uses are meant for warehousing and manufacturing and things like that. So this was just a better use for us. I'll ask you to flip through the pictures and I'll tell you what they are. That's a picture of the site. Those are the 4 buildings that are there. Okay, and the next one. This is the property before we bought it. And it had one tenant that took up about 3/4 of the space, and it was a machine shop, which I noticed is actually a use that would normally be an industrial. Okay, you can move to the next one. And again, that's another before shot. Thank you. Well, there's the improvement. That's what we did to it. We painted it, put on new awnings, put on all new roll-up doors. You can scroll through. Next one. That's a picture of the new paint job. Just tried to modernize it. And the next one. And the next one. We did a little bit of landscaping, try to pretty it up. You can see a building in the background there that hadn't been painted yet, but I think they've all been painted now. And one more. I want to show you, this is what we do to the inside. We polish the floors, paint, put all new sheetrock, new roll-up doors, new sinks, new bathrooms, new doors. Just try to turn, a 1980s building into brand new space. And the next. And we put a little bit of office in it. Most businesses like this need just a small office to do business, and the rest of it, they desire warehouse space. So I just wanted you to kind of see what the project was, what we do, and why it's best suited to an industrial zoning.
Well, I can tell you that when I rode through there, you guys obviously take a lot of pride in what you do. The improvements you made are fantastic. Looks
Well,
great.
thank you. I'm glad you're happy
Looks
with
real
it.
good.
We have one more thing to go, and that is to resurface the parking lot. We haven't gotten to that yet, but that's coming.
And it looks like you guys are 100% occupied.
We are 100%
Good.
occupied. We have some great businesses that are in there, all people that have wanted to be in Loganville, couldn't find a space, and usually had businesses that had outgrown the spaces they were in and needed something bigger.
Okay, it looks great. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Merritt?
How many tenants you guys got?
We could have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 tenants.
11 tenants.
Yes.
And you guys have made the changes for HDA, handicap,
Yes. Yeah. All the bathrooms are handicap accessible.
parking and stuff like that.
Yeah, everything up to code. A couple of the tenants, if you're interested, we've got an electrician, somebody who does audio systems. We got somebody who distributes organic plant food, somebody who runs a water filtration company. You know, they're typical industrial users.
Great.
Very nice. Thank you.
Okay.
And it does look real well. You said it's, how occupied is it? What's the?
It is 100% occupied
Okay.
right now. We actually, Euro Machine was the tenant that occupied almost 3/4 of the space when we bought it. And we knew they were moving out. They've purchased their own building and have just about moved. And they moved out one building at a time. They have the last building to go. So the smallest building on the site there. They're still in that and will probably be there for about another year. But we went ahead and finished the outside of it like all the others so the project would look complete. And when they move out in about a year, then we'll seek new tenants for that last building. But the three buildings, the other three larger buildings, they all have new tenants in them.
Sure. And seeing with what businesses you have there and how light industrial reads, it does. I mean, it looks. I agree that it looks like it should be light industrial. I was just curious though. The whole block is commercial highway, basically, Tim, and this you're fully occupied. What's the advantage of getting it changed?
We were lucky in that many of the users that are in there could kind of go either way, highway commercial or light industrial. But really, it was the best example would be what's the name of them? The distributor of organic plant material. When they first came in for their zoning, they actually did not apply. They're a manufacturer, a distributor, and they would not have been allowed in because this particular user said, well, we could sell some from the front office. We could put in a little storefront. We could sell to the public. That made them qualify under highway commercial. So we slid in under the rules, but really it's the uses are better designed for an industrial zoning. So the types that we got could kind of go either way, if that helps answer your question.
Sure. Thank you.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay. We're good. Okay. Thank you.
And the Planning Commission did recommend approval for this rezone.
It does look nice. Okay, Tim, next.
You want to just
Yeah,
for the
I'll
audience
Okay, does anybody would like to speak?
about this?
Any questions from the audience? Anybody? Okay, Tim, thank you.
Next item we have is V20-007. The applicant is Brad Cooper with Blue River Development. The property owner is Jeremy Dupree. The property address is 344 Covington Street. The parcel number is LG 100157. Present zoning is R16. It's 1.43 acres. And the applicant is asking for a reduction in the minimum road width requirement from 100 feet to 93.1 feet. I don't know if the applicant is here. I don't see him.
So no one representing us here tonight?
No. Correct. But what they're actually wanting to do is divide that lot up into 3 lots to build 3 single-family residential homes on. And under the R16 ordinance, you're required to have 100-foot road frontage for each lot, and by dividing it up into 3 lots, they will be 7 feet short of
So they're
having-
not asking to change the zoning, they just need the 7 feet.
Correct. They're just asking for a variance for that 7 feet.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
So, my first experience with the variance, Tim. So it says that basically they had to submit a plat to you all. You all had to review it, recommend it to the planning commission. Is there any?
Yes, the variance is the same process as a rezone.
Okay.
But under the ordinance, if they're going to divide that up into 3 lots, each lot would have to have 100-foot road frontage. And they're 7 feet short total of having the 100-foot.
Right. And how often do you get, I mean, just curiosity, how often do you get variances, and is this similar to other variances that you've experienced?
Yes, we have done these before. We usually get variances a little less often than we do rezones, but we get a good many.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Melanie Long, and she got up and spoke in favor for it.
And did you say what the planning and zoning recommended?
They recommended approval.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is 1.41.
Anything else?
Yeah, any other questions from the council? Anybody in the audience? Okay,
That's all I have. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Tim.
By the way, Ms. Merritt, we're going to take this vote on Thursday, by the way, just to let you know.
Okay, next up is the Planning and Zoning Commission appointments. And last week, the Planning and Zoning Committee met with each one of the applicants and had them come up and introduce themselves and explain why they wanted to be on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So we'll do the same tonight. We are less 2 people. We had 1 applicant who has withdrawn due to health conditions, and I talked to her, I think it was Friday night, so I just want everybody to keep her in your prayers. She's going to need it. But that's Miss Arnold. She has withdrawn her application. And then the other is Miss Alma Thomas is in Florida with a family member who is ill, and she, in her words, is right where she needs to be, but she wants to make it clear that she did not want to withdraw. She is still very much interested and would still like to be considered. So with that being said, we'll go in alphabetical order. Then we'll start with, let's see. Yes, Mr. Brian Linkus, I guess you're next.
I always get nervous when I talk in front of a microphone. So Brian Linkus, my wife and I moved from LJ in 2017, bought a new home over in Jacobs Creek subdivision. Very thankful to live in the city. I own a insurance office right across the street over here on Main Street. And as I mentioned last week, when I was in LJ, I served on the Historic Preservation Committee in downtown LJ. LJ is a historic town, and as I had mentioned before, history, when history is preserved, Georgia Tech did a study and found that tourism spends more money and stays longer in areas where history is preserved. And so I had the opportunity to go before and have people bring properties for suggested changes that we had to match with the historic code of downtown LJ, and we had to decide whether those properties would be suitable for the historic preservation within the city of LJ. I also had the opportunity to serve in the Economic Development Committee within LJ. LJ was hit really, really hard during the downturn in 2008, and we had the opportunity to submit to City Council for a Downtown Development Authority, of which it was approved, and I'm very thankful to say that LJ is a robust little community despite COVID-19. I had also mentioned that my wife and I have rezoned a piece of property in Walton County right off Highway 20 from A1 to B1 or B2 for the purposes of installing or building a mini storage facility. So my desire is to, continue helping Loganville move forward. I'm very forward-thinking, having a business in the city. It is my desire to make Loganville a place where people want to stay for their families, where they want to work, and maybe even where they want to retire.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Linkus? Okay, thank you. All right, next up is Miss Melanie Long.
I'm Melanie Long. I've lived in Loganville since I was 15. I've served this community in my best capacity over the years in any way I can. I've helped with festivals and things. I've served on the Downtown Development Authority. And as I get older, I have more time on my hands, and I'd like to help the city out any way I can. I feel like starting on the planning and zoning kind of gets you educated, lets you learn, kind of start on the ground level, and maybe work my way up through the system one day and serve my city any way I can. So this is just a step in the right direction if I could serve my city in this capacity.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Ms. Long?
I think I have one for you.
Okay,
I
Jay.
think you have indicated you're going to run for city council next year.
That is my intention.
So this will get your feet in the door a little bit.
Yeah, and it'll help me get some education so that when I come in, I'm going to be able to better work with y'all because I already kind of know what you're up against. I'll kind of be familiar with what you do.
Well, I've often heard it said that that's a stepping stone to city council, so. Okay, any other questions, anybody? All right, thank you, Ms. Long. Thank you. Next up is Ms. Lisa Luttrell. Did I get it right that time?
Hi, I'm Lisa Luttrell, or Luttrell. I've lived in Loganville for 20 years. I've raised my daughter here. I've always been very involved with the schools. Now that she's getting older, she doesn't want me as involved with her in the schools. But I want to be involved. I want to be involved in the city. I want to be involved in what's going on. I feel like planning and zoning is that forefront. It's when we first see people like the Merritts come in and they want to bring improvement to Loganville. They want to bring beauty to Loganville. They want to bring the businesses to Loganville. I want to be part of that. I want to see parts of Loganville stay the same. I want to see parts of Loganville change. I want to see parts of Loganville just be cleaned up. I'm a paralegal, so by trade, I research, I dig, I look into things, I'm curious, and I believe on a planning commission, you have to be all of those things because you have to know, you have to know exactly what's coming into your town, whether it's going to be good for the citizens or not. And y'all made me really nervous today for some reason.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anyone from the council have any questions? Mayor?
No. You did great.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Miss Amanda Sosby?
Amanda.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Amanda Sosby. I currently serve on the planning committee. I've served one term already. My appointment was up, so I'm hoping to be reconsidered by this body for the position. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. My husband and I live just off of Fair Street. We've been here 17 years, and my husband owns a small business around the corner, to which I'm very privileged to get to work for. In a former life, I was the executive director's assistant at the Evermore Community Improvement District, which is the CID from Highway 78 from Snellville into Stone Mountain. So some of my daily jobs dealt directly with planning and zoning issues as it pertained to that area. I've also been exposed on many levels to local, state, federal, city, county policies, again, as it related to my duties with the CID. So I think I'm quite qualified, and again, I've enjoyed it very much. It is a privilege and an honor to serve my community, but I have a wonderful chairman and wonderful other members of my committee, and respectfully would like to continue to serve.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just would like to add, you got a pretty good husband as a mechanic, though. Pretty good mechanic there, my friend. Oh, okay. Pretty good mechanic.
Okay, since Miss Alma Thomas can't be here tonight, I'll just quickly go through her application. She lives at 212 Chad Lane here in Loganville. 17 years she's lived here. She's retired with Gwinnett County Public Schools, and she has made Loganville her home. She cares about the future and the direction of redevelopment, business and residential. She's very organized, compassionate, fair, has served as treasurer of the PTA, former president of the HOA, treasurer of the Villas of Loganville since 2006. She's very capable of making sound and fair decisions. And that is all we have for the applicants tonight. And I got to say, you guys are making it very tough. This is a great group. Everybody's just very well qualified. And we want to say thank you for filling out the applications and stepping up and raising your hand to serve. So I think what will happen here is Thursday night we'll take a vote on these. And so we invite you all to come back Thursday night. All right. Does anybody have any questions about this? Ms. Janice, do you have anything to say about your committee?
Microphone.
I forgot to turn my microphone on. I would like to say tonight that Melissa Arnold cannot be with us. She has some health issues, and when she called to talk to me, I spent quite a bit of time crying that night. She is a very, very special person. She's done a wonderful job. I have had this past year, 2 years, it has been the best committee I've ever worked with. Everybody goes out, does the research. They can tell you everything that's on the property, walk the property, and it's just been great. And I don't know how many of you know here, but Mr. Bruce Granoff had to resign because of health. I talked to him yesterday. I've been checking on him every week, and he has to have some surgery on prostate. And then he almost fell a couple of weeks ago, and his other knee has given away, and he also has to have knee surgery. And this group of folks, I'm going to tell you something, they have been wonderful to work with, and I'm going to miss them. And when I read over these applicants, of course, Amanda's been with me now, so I know her real well, and I've talked to the others. I have no complaints with anybody, so. You know me, if I don't like something you do, I'm going to tell you. That's my nature. Love y'all.
All right.
Whatever decision you make, I'll be.
Janice, you guys going to give us a recommendation?
I'm sorry, what?
We do that.
Planning and zoning committee, you guys are going to, Lisa?
We don't have we're not there yet.
Okay, all right, let me know.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Janice. And the only thing I have now is that when we have our council meetings, can we make sure we plan ahead so we're not meeting on Christmas next month or in December, or when we go to advertise, can we look at the calendar? Okay, thank you. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chairwoman Lisa Newberry. Finance/Economic Development, Chairwoman Nance Hudson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I have a lot of things on my agenda, plus two more that aren't there that Danny and I talked about that didn't quite make it. The first thing we'll talk about is the millage rate. Danny, do you have something you want to present on that?
I can present the millage.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah, back to what Lisa, you said about on the holiday. Yes, Tim and I talked about this in detail a couple of weeks ago, and this was done 2 months ahead of time, and just oversight on our behalf, and we apologize, but we couldn't move it back because it was already zoned, and we have to do this 45 days before their meeting, which is last month, and for y'all to hear it this month. So planning and zoning is very by the book, state in Georgia's eyes, so that's why. So yes, so the millage rate, we advertise in the paper as state law requires. In the Walton Tribune, it has to be done in a conspicuous place. I believe it was on page A2 of the Tribune. Don't quote me on that, but it was somewhere in there. But we're advertising to y'all, and hopefully you will pass it, a rollback rate of, currently we're at 11.85. We would roll back to 11.838, which is a difference of 0.012 mils. And we will need that to be able to, once you approve the millage rate, to bill the taxes. I know a lot of people think they've already got their tax bill from the city of Loganville, but they have not, because we have not sent them out. The county did go up on assessments again on both counties. We anticipated that in the budget cycle, and that's why we didn't set this budget at a too high millage rate, because we would assume that we would do a rollback rate, which is good for everyone. It's your property value went up, so therefore the tax rate goes down to pay similar to what you paid last year. So with that, I will ask for y'all to approve the 11.838 that's presented before y'all tonight.
Do we need to do that tonight, or can we?
No, ma'am,
we can
for Thursday
vote
night.
on Thursday.
Yes,
Yeah, I don't
we'll vote on Thursday
that.
night.
I'd rather vote Thursday
I'd rather
night.
vote.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to vote on it.
Okay. So that'll be an 11.838, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Probably stay put because I want to talk about the credit rating. So in your packet.
You want to take any questions first?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. Any questions from the audience? Okay. Thank you.
In your packet, there is a presentation from Moody's Investor Service. This has to do with the city's credit rating update, which is now an AA3, which is really great. And so, Danny, do you want to talk a little bit about what we had to do to get it and how great? I mean,
yeah. So when we bonded the over $14 million in 2018, every couple of years, Moody, who rates most all government entities, they're out of New York. They look at our audit, look at our current cash in hand. They look at, when I say everything, I mean everything from lawsuits to Chris's departure. They look at everything. We was on the phone with them last week, Natalie, for about 4 or 5 hours. So with that, they actually scored us at AA2, which is better than the AA3, but Moody rated us at AA3, which we're currently, in 2018, also rated AA3. And the only factor that hurt us was the tax base. We have a very small tax base in their eyes. That was one of the big contributing factors to taking us from an AA2 to an AA3. I sent y'all in your packet the full report, which shows all the financials, the pension, where we rate in their eyes, and that was one of the biggest factors that hurt us from an AA2 to AA3. But that's still a very good rating. That's what we rated in 2018, and we maintained that. So that's good for the city. Not only is it the city of Loganville, but it's also the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund as well. They scored the same rating as well. They actually did a little bit better than the general fund.
These type of ratings, they affect if we ever going to get a bond or something like that.
They are definitely directed to your interest rate.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
It's just like when you go out and buy a house, they do your credit score. This is just for a government.
That's right.
So, like, give me an example. Walton County is an AA2. Gwinnett County is an AAA, which is highest you can get. But, we cannot compete with a $1.3 billion budget.
Right.
Any questions from mayor or council or public?
Okay. moving along, the next item I have is the MCCI Laserfish renewal invoice. It's a budget item. It's our annual cost for the Laserfish. Anybody have any questions on what that does and how it works and why we need it? No? Would everybody be okay if we put that one on consent?
Consent?
Yes. Is that okay?
Consent.
Okay. Okay. And there's the details of the pricing renewal is in your packet. All right. The next item I have is the retirement valuation, which I don't believe there's anything in the packet on that. I didn't see anything. So can you
Natalie, you want
to present about that, Natalie?
just as increase?
Please, ma'am.
Since the study, they reevaluated 17%. So this was an audit, if you will, from GMA, where they look at our finances. It's based on salaries and people's tenure as far as close to retirement. And we had an increase of a little over 17% that was done after we approved the budget. So it would be a budget amendment that we're addressing on this one. A budget amendment of $10,975.
That's additional that needs to go towards?
Yes, towards our
okay.
pension.
So do I need to make a motion, or can I put it? Do you have any questions, or do you mind if we go on consent? Go ahead, Bill.
No.
Oh, no? Okay.
Consent?
Consent's fine.
Consent.
Consent? Okay. And Christy's not here, so do we want to?
Robbie loves
Robbie's here.
to talk.
Robbie, you want to talk about Autumn Heritage? And tell us what's going on?
No. All right, so I checked our emails this morning. As of right now, we have about 43, 44 applicants compared to last year. That's about on par with what we had last year at this point. There's a breakdown of about, I think it was 14 or 15 craft vendors, 10 food vendors, and everything else is local businesses and churches.
Okay.
Great.
So we're still planning and moving forward unless a new mandate comes from you all or the governor of the state of Georgia.
It ain't going to come from there.
What was that number again, Robbie? What was the number again?
The total number or the breakdown?
The total number.
I think it was 42. It's either 42 or 43 total.
Now, are we expecting to get a lot more applicants between now and then?
Typically, once we remind everybody of a deadline about 2 weeks out or a month out, we see a surge. I mean, they're still trickling in. We got three more on Friday. You know, they just trickle in, and every time we make an announcement, we get a few more coming in. So.
Okay.
And that we did lose a little bit of sponsorship. It's hard to get sponsorship now with what's going on in the world. So I told Christy we were anticipating $5,000 to $6,000. It's within my limit, but just wanted you to know we're not going to. If somebody says what you do in sponsorships versus last year, it's going to be down, but I think it's worth $5,000 for the community to have a festival. Just wanted y'all to know that.
Hey, Robbie, how are we with the bands? Do we have some confirmed already, or we're still waiting on that?
My last discussion with Chrissy is we've got 3 different bands that we're communicating with.
Great. We got music too. Love it.
All right. Okay. So nothing on consent on that. That's just an FYI. Danny handed me something about the CARES Act right before the meeting. This is not on the agenda, but I just want to give you an update. As of right now, we have received $154,231.99 in repayment from the CARES Act. We have requested $359,874. Is that in addition to?
Yes.
In addition to. It's been requested. The decision's in progress. It was submitted about a week and a half ago. Do you have any kind of time frame when we might get that?
No, the only time frame we got from them was they were updating their server, because as of 2 days before the deadline was September 1st at 11:59 p.m. And 2 days prior to that, there was over 400 government entities in the state of Georgia that have not applied for the first round of the first percent or the 30% of the first round. They had till that time to do it, or they lost it. So we were fortunate enough to get ours in the 70% in. Me and Natalie was sweating bullets there for a while, because it went a week and a half before we heard anything from the first one, and then we still have not heard nothing from the second one. But once we're in, we're in. So, and then we also sent Gwinnett County an additional $400,000, but but they don't have to go through stage order. There's just direct funding through the federal government because of their population.
Mm.
But we have not heard a single thing from Gwinnett County other than they received my email.
Okay. And are those reimbursements on the budget as line items, or are they?
It's going to go back to the payroll, and then once the payroll is, it's going to show an increase. So we'll just redistribute that money to the equipment that we're buying.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if we were showing it in budget. Like I know with PPP, you kind of have to show it as a liability, and then you take the expenses off of it. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, now we've created an expense a line item because we will get audited from the federal government on this because it's over $750,000.
Right.
So she has created a separate fund, if you will, for this. But the revenue will come in and then have to be respent
and go against
out.
the fund.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Can I explain that right, Natalie? Okay.
Any questions on the CARES that money? Okay. The last item I have came out of the Citizens Advisory Group meeting, I guess it was last Monday. Just to give a quick update, and the chairman, who is Paul Smith, is here. The group is working on a survey to be distributed to all residents of the city and taxpayers, and they're working on the details and the questions. However, the question that came up in the meeting was, and there was a comment that was made, that this survey was only being done as a dog and pony show, and the council didn't really care what was said in the survey, and we were going to do our own thing. So what I wanted to do was to hopefully set the minds at ease of not just the CAG, the Citizens Advisory Group, but all the citizens who are going to take the survey, that we as a council, one of the things that we talked about 8 months ago, is that we really wanted to know what people wanted. What did the citizens actually want? So this survey will be coming out in the next few months whenever Paul and the team works it out. But I wanted to have a brief discussion and get feedback to sort of reassure them that as a council, we want to hear what the citizens want. So that's the purpose of putting this on the agenda. There's no survey, there's no results, there's nothing yet. What I want to set everybody's mind at ease is that we care about what the survey results say, and that will help guide us as we move forward.
Can you play the movie?
Can I play the movie?
Play the movie on how this is going to go out. Like, is it going to the water bill? Can they reply online? Who can see the I'm in the dark on this.
I don't think we're that far yet, and Paul can certainly probably give more guidance than I can. We've talked about different ways to give people a PIN or a code that there'll be an announcement at least in the water bill. There'll be the ability to do it on the web. There may also be a mail follow-up, but none of that has been cemented, and they're working on that.
When is that survey going out?
October, I think, is their goal. Yes.
How many meetings have y'all had?
4.
4 or 5 meetings.
I think there's been 4, and the next one will be Monday coming.
Do we get a chance to look at the survey before you send it out? And why wouldn't we?
Well, because I think it is important from the community involvement is we are supposed to be independent of any influence by the city. And as far as a courtesy, yes, we'll provide one. But I believe, and I'm only speaking for me, but I feel I was speaking for everyone, that it's very important that we appear to be independent. So if you're asking to look at the questions before they're submitted for interpretation, at this point, that is not our goal.
Paul, can you please state how you were brought as chairman and how that went down? Like, what's your role? And I don't, since we've opened that up.
You come here.
I will. Originally, my goal was just to let people know what was happening and to facilitate where we are going, how we're getting there. And it has evolved a little bit more in the last week or so that we have some difference of opinions. And that's fine. I mean, anytime you have a group of 7 people, there will never, ever be 100% buy-in what we are doing. And so I plan to address this at our meeting next Monday to get everyone on the same page. And the concern is by several people is we are a puppet of you all. We are a puppet of the city manager, and we have an agenda. Now, all I can say, and I've posted this and people don't believe it, I've been ridiculed, got my first hate mail the other day. So it may appear that we are struggling, but we're not. Our agenda is to produce a questionnaire that is bias-free. Bias-free means we're not putting something that would lead people to answer a certain way. And so it's very important, and one of our subject matter experts on the committee is very good about setting up these questions to appear neutral. And that's very important that we want the citizens, you all, to comment, and you all show us, you show them what you want. It's not us trying to contrive something. Did that answer?
And Jay, to your question.
Do you understand that part, Jay, that we are really...
certainly not puppets, I'll tell you that.
I'm sorry?
You guys aren't puppets to, you're not puppets to us.
Right.
That's the reason we're having.
I know that. Yeah. That's why you had asked about.
No, just because I'm in the dark on all.
And from a courtesy perspective, I think the council should absolutely see it before it goes out.
Yes.
And the 7 members of the CAG have all of the say-so. Like Ray and I have sat in on the meetings, Danny and Tim have sat in on the meetings, and we don't get to choose the questions. They are choosing the questions. They are doing the questions on something called the Likert scale, which one of the members researched and came up with, which is a scale that, the strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. I really think at the end of the process, to go back to your question about playing the movie, what I would hope happens, and I think I've stated this at the first meeting, and I explained HADOW before. At the first meeting, what we talked about is what I would like to do is that at the end of it, the survey comes, we get the results, we sit down as a council, and finally we have quantitative information that says 80% of the citizens want a dog park, or 80% of the citizens want whatever that number says. And if you recall, when we talked to the HADOW group, they did that for Peachtree City. They took what the citizens want and they put out a request for proposal, and whatever that looks like, whether it's revitalization downtown, whether it's, I don't know what it's going to say. I have no say in it, but that we do something with what we find. That's the point of having this discussion, is to make sure that we're willing, all of us, to do something with what we find out. That's all. I don't know what it's going to say. That's up to them to do the questions.
Well, and I'd just like to comment, do y'all keep minutes on these meetings? No. So they're just informal?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, this is like the first update.
It's a group. It's not a committee. If that makes, I know we're doing semantics, but with the citizens.
There's no minutes. No.
Okay.
I'm calling it a group. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So this is like the first update that we've really gotten on this, other than what I read on Facebook, which I choose not to do.
Right. Well, in the past, about a month or so ago, I've sent some emails just advising you all, and I can do that more often if you would like. And that would not be
that's up to you.
Is that something you would like? I can do that. But we're still formulating and fine-tuning the questions. We're probably 80% there, maybe.
As a council member, I feel like I'm in the dark. I don't like being in the dark.
Yes.
I'm not trying to impose on your group, but I sure would like to know what's going on.
Okay.
A little more often than, 5 meetings into it.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
I will make sure you will get emails with what we've done, our agenda, and I will send you an unedited copy of some of the questions that we're already looking at. Of course, they will be fine-tuned to be grammatically correct, especially if I've written some of them down, that they need to be grammatically correct and appear, again, unbiased. And that's so important, and that's almost impossible sometimes. When you say, do you want this? Well, what do you mean by that? And so we're really trying to formulate questions that are going to be down the middle. And so that's all I can say.
Yeah, and please understand, it's like when people want to know Taco Bell's coming to town. If I don't know Taco Bell's coming to town and they ask me about it, it looks like I don't know what's going on in our city.
Yeah.
So when people ask about the Citizen Advisory Group, I just need to know what's going on.
No problem.
Thank you.
I will handle that.
Well, I could tell you, I've been in every meeting, and I think there's one person, and I haven't said not much, but I think there's one person that's in that meeting that's haven't even said a word. That's Tim Prather. So these folks are saying they're puppets of us. I'm just sitting there, just observing, and it's a very good dialogue. It's just, you guys are dialoguing, very well. So good job.
Again, all I can do is share with you and share with the public. No, we are our own people.
That's right.
Period.
That's right.
And we've got to remember, we're sending this out to every single taxpayer
and registered voter.
And registered voter.
And that was important. We finally decided last meeting, officially to send this questionnaire to every registered voter in the city limits. So therefore, we're not excluding renters. If you live here and you vote here, you should have the right to express your opinion.
Are you sending out to every taxpayer or just residential?
Residential and commercial and business.
And businesses?
Yes.
Did not know that.
That way everybody gets to.
So every commercial, business, residential, and taxpayer in the city limits will get a questionnaire. And we're still, again, formulating, do we want to do this online first and see the response and then send out a paper questionnaire later? We're still working that out because of logistics. But we might do both anyway.
So does anybody have any other questions? You guys have any more questions? And are you excited or happy or committed to taking the results that we get and doing something with them? Are you open to doing that, to looking at the results to do something?
Well, as a counselor, we need to be open-minded because that's the whole reason we're doing this, right. So we can get the feedback. And if we are so close-minded that we're not going to listen to the citizens,
I agree.
Then what's the whole point? I mean, that's the whole point, is to listen.
Right.
And we have to be open-minded in order to do that.
Okay.
Absolutely. I just don't want to mislead anybody to think that we've got all this cash sitting around that we can all of a sudden just poof this out.
Totally agree with that.
It's something that has to be planned for years. Just like if you look what Snellville's done, they didn't just all of a sudden spit this thing out and start building.
Absolutely.
It's going to take time.
Well, hopefully this will give us a planning, like a roadmap, right? It's not going to be this year. It probably won't be maybe in our time, but at least we'll get something started. It's not going to just sit. Jay, do you have any thoughts?
Oh, I always have thoughts.
Do you want to share?
Let's just make sure we get it right.
Get it what?
Get it right.
Absolutely.
Like streamline, no redundancy. This is how it's going to be. Because in the past, we've tripped. We've made some trips.
We have. I agree.
Well, we'll try, but there's so many great questions. See, that's the dilemma, right. Trying to narrow these down.
Smart people, get it right.
Well, we do have some smart people. So we do. We'll do our best.
Bill?
And I appreciate what you have to say, Paul. Putting together a survey like this is, I can just imagine how difficult it is, but also keeping your opinions out of it and being able to get this unbiased, hearing that, it gives me some comfort as well. So I'm good to hear it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
Are we going to ask anybody in the audience have questions?
Oh, sure.
There is another member here of that group.
Yeah, read it.
I don't know if Ms. Arnold wants to chime in. We got.
Hold on.
We got.
Is there a timeline for when you'll have those questions out or a goal? Uh-huh. How many questions do you think it'll be?
Hundreds. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you want people to fill it out, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, but.
So hopefully by October we should see that as.
Okay, listen. I would do some research on the percentage of people that want to fill out surveys or questionnaires, how many?
What's the ideal length?
Yes. Yeah. Like, you know, YouTube, 2 minutes is good video for
Yeah.
YouTube, not 20. Okay.
We can do that. Good point. Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Coming down to public safety, Chairman Jable.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilwoman Newberry, for letting me borrow your glasses.
Now I can't see.
The first thing I have tonight is it looks like the drug dealers are going to buy the boys some weapons. Our currently issued standard weapons have reached the end of their recommended service life of 10 years. So we're going to go with Clyde Armory in Athens to replace the, looks like handguns, holsters, and some other things here in the memo for $19,880. I'd like to put that on consent. We good with that? It's drug money.
Good.
Good. All right. Consent. The second item is a vehicle purchase and reassignment of CID vehicles to SRO. It looks like the opportunity to purchase 2 identical 2020 Dodge Durango Pursuit vehicles from Ginn Motors. Ginn Motors is selling these vehicles at state contract pricing. Currently, the SRO officers are driving a 2011 Ford F-150 and 2008 Silverado. The total cost is $74,410.30. Ms. Warnack has confirmed the sufficient funds are available for this purchase and will require no budgeted funds.
And that will be the 2019 Walton Splost.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. I'd like to put that on consent as well.
Hey, Danny, do we have enough money from this Roth already to fulfill it?
Yes, Mayor, we do.
Yeah.
And this is gonna, just one more thing, Mayor, is gonna outfit it for, in the packet, you'll see the trim, the computers they put in it, just all the, right? Everything that goes with making it. Okay. That's all I have for you tonight.
All right. Thank you so much, Chairman J. Bowman. Public utilities / transportation, Bill Duvall.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So a few items tonight. First one is the 2020 CDBG Pecan Street. Bids were opened August 27th. The lowest responsive bidder was Allied Paving Contractor. They have a bid of about $391,371. This is budgeted. And anything else you want to add to that, Danny? Is that?
No, actually we had a little bit left over.
Yep.
If no change orders come in, we may pave a little bit or do some more sidewalks towards Logan Drive, Brandon. So we'll just have to play that by ear and see how the project turns out. But we had more budgeted than the bid, so hopefully we can use that remainder on some more sidewalks.
Good deal. Any other comments or questions? Or put that on consent?
CDBG, yes. Consent? Yes, sir.
All righty. So in August, we approved a replacement of a damaged digester motive pump. The cost we approved was $12,000. Apparently, there's an issue. I guess Brandon want to probably or Danny want to say what's the issue with the warranty?
It was a shaft. The shaft was not warranted by the digester, so we can get a brand new one instead of rebuilding the one we had for the $18,000 number, $18,840. Brandon, you want to add anything else to that? Yeah. So instead of rebuilding the old one, we'll just get a brand new one.
Okay. And how soon are we going to get that?
I believe it was already ordered because of the importance of it, but they give you a time frame. No. But
Okay.
usually it's fairly quickly because it's a major equipment.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Anybody from the public? We put that on consent?
Consent. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. The third item up is a contract for Chris Yancey we've got 5 active projects to help transition. Very important to keep things going.
Yeah. So as you all know, Chris went to Barrow County to be the Public Works Director. His last day was Friday. We were able to work out a deal that he would stay on board to oversee these major projects that we're doing. And he agreed to that, and I believe it was his current hourly rate, because there are going to be some Saturdays he's going to have to come in. He's going to have to do some walkthroughs after hours, mainly with the plant expansion. And then once the water lines start, he'll have to oversee that and help Brandon with that as well. So he's not just leaving us. He will be available at our request.
So, did you have a question, Ann? Go ahead.
Yeah, why would he be an employee and not a 1099?
Yeah. That was my question too.
Was that your question? Yeah.
What's the question?
Why wouldn't he be a 1099?
Well, he would be. He's not an employee.
Well,
yeah, but this whole agreement says employee, which means taxes and pension and.
Yeah, that was what my concern. Yeah, my concern was employee, how that interferes with his pension. Is he limited? And then it's also that's not.
No, it would be 1099. He would be able to do that. So we'll change it. There were a few other changes I had to make, but we'll get that corrected before Robin approves it.
Also, there's no end date, Danny.
Yeah, we can do it. Well, we can do we'll have to play it by year because we don't know how long, but we'll say a year with automatic renewal unless we need it and have a 30-day out clause in it.
Right, 30-day out clause is in there. So
yeah,
okay.
And he's paid by the hour as hourly rate.
Yes. So Robin will review this and then she'll work out all those details.
Now, what's a travel rate? Is that
so when he has to come here and inspect, he'll pay like when contractors come, we have to pay their travel. So there's it's a less rate than his hourly rate.
Mileage? No, that's what mileage, right?
Well, I mean, he can do it either way. I mean, some do contract rate, some do mileage. Like the attorney does an hourly rate. The contractors at the plant do an hourly rate, not mileage.
Good question.
So how is an hour if it takes him 20 minutes to get, or 15 minutes?
It'll be prorated.
Okay.
Yeah. It's based on that formula. We can, whatever y'all wish, we can put in there. Chris is open to anything. What would y'all prefer, a set fee?
I would think mileage would be the easiest.
So, but if you're paying mileage, you're paying us time to get here as well, right? Either or. That's right. Okay. So mileage is a direct expense.
Well, I can only tell you the contractors at the plant, they get mileage and hourly rate. Mm-hmm. When the contractor comes to fix a pump, correct, Brandon? They get both? Yeah. But we can do whatever you wish.
Yeah, we need his help. I want to take care of him, but.
I don't care about that as much as the 1099.
But also, I figure too that the amount of time he's going to spend getting here is not going to be that much.
Yeah, we'll just do a flat fee. We'll say whatever that is, $20 flat fee or something. And we'll bring it back for you Thursday.
Okay. So now, how are we going to do this? As far as Robin's going to review it.
Yeah, once Robin approves the contract, and we'll make those changes as far as take the employee wording out and do a flat trip charge, and then his hourly rate is when he's here. We'll make those changes and resend it to you by Thursday.
Okay. I'm good with it. Thanks.
So a trip charge. Anything else?
Anything else from you all?
Not the employee, right? Change the employee.
Yeah, I mean that'll be done. Yeah, he's not an employee.
If Chris is watching, excuse me, if he's watching that, we appreciate him sticking with us. And
he'll be here Thursday too, and then we'll name his replacement Thursday night as well.
Okay.
Officially. Yeah. Well, he does know that.
So we want to wait till Thursday to take any action on this.
Yes.
Yeah, I would not ask for consent.
Right. Got it. All right, and we are adding one more thing to the agenda, Mr. Mayor. This is all right. We have to. We just had a change order on the Monroe Loganville water line. So when they were laying the water line out and they got to the Appalachia Bridge, they hit rock. And so the options to mitigate that are difficult. So the total increase was $877,000, but that's split between Monroe and Loganville. Monroe's already paid their part. You want to go ahead and add something to that, Danny?
Yeah, there was a discrepancy. I have not heard back from Monroe, but when I add those numbers up, I get $848,519.6 0.65. They get 877, 318.65. So I'm gonna find out what that $28,000 difference is. It could be a typo, or it could be engineering fees they didn't show, because the engineer would have to have his charge in there as well. But yeah, these are two major change orders for rock. There was we looked at hanging the pipe on the bridge, but was denied through GDOT because the bridge was not designed to carry that much weight. So this was their only option, was to dig through the rock. And then at Cowan Road, we were denied an open trench cut for the road, so they told us we had to bore it, so that caused, they hit rock, and that's the other $126,000. So those two add up to the $848,519.65.
Did we have a contingency to account for any of this?
No, because it went out to bid. That's what the bid price came in at. We had a defined number. So that if you remember, this project has increased a lot. So
I thought on bids that we typically add a 10% contingency for surprises.
We didn't do this. This was all the city of Monroe. They designed it, engineered it. We just agreed to pay half, 50%. So
it's a lot of money.
But when I came to y'all, this is not the amount that was required. I mean, I asked for less than this.
Well, how much more do they have to go to finish?
These are the only two items left. And they're waiting on.
We shouldn't have any more surprises?
We were told no. There are two more out there that we had a great discussion in that we're not paying for, so that's on the contractor. So we'll have to see what that, but that's nowhere near this amount. This is the biggest amount. The river was, I don't have it, was what, 700, I mean, 600,000.
Well, I mean, Danny, you and I talked about this, and they had the opportunity to get a survey, and they didn't.
They did not, to our knowledge, do a geo survey, correct?
So why do we have to pay $877,000 or half of that when they didn't do their due diligence?
Their reasoning was because they ran a gas line there the year before, and they didn't hit rock, but they had to go deeper on this one, and then they hit rock. So that's what they were going with.
I mean, do we have any sort of pushback, like a not to exceed or a you messed up and didn't do your job? And
we do on the two other change orders that we're not talking about tonight, because we gave them the information and the contractor missed it. So that was on him. But those were for like a meter type, a specific meter.
I guess it just doesn't feel good to pay for somebody else.
No, that's a lot of money.
It's not like $10.
No, it's
it's $400,000.
Yes.
Plus. Do we have any alternative?
Not that I know of. Because, we got the Gwinnett on the other hand that's just waiting for us to get off their system.
I mean, is this a city attorney thing that we can go to for them not doing their due diligence?
I talked to her, but there was not much. It was just a rock claw. I mean, it was just hitting rock.
And there is a rock clause?
There was, but it exceeded this amount of rock. So.
What does the rock clause do? What does that do?
Well, they have a little small amount set aside for rock clause in their contract. But I don't know what that amount was, because, like I said, we didn't oversee this contract. We had when we asked for it, but they just kind of ran with it. So.
Before the city of Monroe makes any decisions, do they check with you first? Does Logan check with you, or they just want to go ahead? And
this one was kind of pretty much already done.
What's that?
This was kind of already done. That's what caused a little bit of heartburn with us.
A little?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So do we do a sanity check of any kind to see if,
What now?
That's just a lot of money. Do we go back and check? And I don't know, do you have meetings with them? Do you have meetings with people doing the work?
Well, when we found out this, yes, we had a meeting. We called for a meeting. But Chris has been trying to get this. How long, Brandon? I mean, this was not a very ideal contract with them, the way it was handled. But we're kind of at their mercy because they got the water that we need. So they kind of have us.
Okay.
And also kind of from the engineering side, I mean, it's a miss, but if you had done the geophysical testing at that time, you would have found out the rock, you would have included that in budget, and we'd still be paying for it.
Right.
I know.
So, I mean, it is. That's the hard part, is that we would have been paying for it
it doesn't
anyway.
mean the rock isn't there.
Correct.
But, can we renegotiate our water rates because of this?
Possible.
Let's do that. Let's get something back.
I will try, but that contract's already signed too.
I just hate a whoops, we messed up here, pay $425,000.
Trust me, I do too.
I mean, because I think we had about that much earmarked for the plant, right? Or for something. We had that 450. We had 450 earmarked for something that we're going to have to take, aren't we?
Well, we had another 200,000 that we're going to run an additional line, but
that's right.
We were able to come up with a game plan to save that 200,000.
How far along is this project?
It's.
We still got a long way to go?
No, they're waiting on the building for the pump to be done, and this is, how they're done with this ALCO yet? It's ahead of schedule, I can tell you that, and their schedule is January. They're hoping to have water by December.
Okay. All right.
And this would be coming out of the reserve. So the money we put away fiscal year 19.
That's what
yeah.
I'm talking about.
So are we going to bring this back up Thursday, or is it? Are we go ahead and vote on it tonight?
You can't vote on it. It'll be voted on Thursday. Yes.
Vote on it Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to him about the water rate?
I can try. I'll do my best.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it.
I mean, this is a tough situation, but, I have to get off Monroe, Gwinnett County water line now by December. This is where it's detrimental.
We're cutting us off. Cutting us off.
They want us off as quick as possible.
They're doing that with everybody.
Not with us.
I don't know if everybody, but
with us.
The biggest thing with them is every drop they give us, they cannot recapture, and that's what's hurting them. Because we're in two different basins as far as where our water goes, where theirs is Chattahoochee, ours is different.
Can we in future contracts put some sort of not to exceed, why are you laughing at me? Some sort of not to exceed change order?
Sure, we can put, but when it comes down to the end of the day, either you do or you don't. If it comes over, either you pay it or you don't pay it and you don't get the water.
I know, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in general. It's $400,000.
I don't know.
Gives me a lot of heartburn.
I thought we always put not to exceed contingencies in there for these things.
Yeah, but like I said, this is not a contract that we didn't engineer it, we didn't design it, we didn't bid it. City of Monroe did. We just agreed to pay 50% of the contract amount.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just like with the Walton County line, we agreed to pay X amount, they agreed to pay X amount. And that's about to start. But we are designing that one.
Okay.
I have no further action.
No action, right?
Best for last.
That's it.
All right. Anything else, Chairman?
No.
That's it. Thank you so much. Public Works / Facilities, Chairwoman Linda Dodd.
Mayor, I have no actionable items for tonight.
Thank you. And Human Resources, Danny Ford is not here. Anything on him?
No.
No. All right. City Manager's Report, ARC Study Contract, Danny Roberts.
Let Robbie talk about this.
So this is basically the next step in the ARC grant process. We have to enter into these contracts with ARC, who will be kind of serving as project managers with this. So we have to sign off on their paperwork. And then once I get the RFP done and we get the GDOT contract, then we'll be putting everything out for bid.
Is there a time that they want this thing done, or are they?
We're kind of waiting on GDOT right now, so.
Okay. Good deal. Any questions from the audience? Robbie, this is the grant that we got, right, from ARC? Okay. For traffic. All right. Anything else? Anything else, Mr. Danny?
I have nothing.
All right. Thank you so much. Coming down to city attorney, Robin Webb is not here. Any reports on Robin Webb? She'll be here Thursday night. All right, well, come back Thursday, 6:30, and we're going to be busy. So I'll make a motion to adjourn. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Meeting is adjourned. Have a good night.